watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly Delta fishing report for the week of June 15th. And once again, it's been all over the board. There are people out there catching fish, and there's a lot of people out there that are still struggling. We'll get into that in just a minute. Now, for you folks who watch weekly, I'd like you to hit me up in a comment and let me know if the audio for this report seems to be a little bit of an upgrade from, I'll say, the last few months. This is what happened. I went out and bought a DJI mic, really nice mic, and I've had it for a couple of months. I've been using it, and when I read the instructions, it was a wireless mic. Well, turns out that a wireless mic actually has to be plugged into the GoPro. I found that out last week, and since then, it seems like my audio is a lot better. So let me know if the audio is better on this week's report. I hope it is. Okay, let's get into the river conditions. Still, we're talking 68 to 72 degree water temps. The clarity of the water has been all over the board. I mean, in the central delta. I haven't been up north. I haven't been way down south, but from the Channel, Mildred Island, or flooded Mildred, White Slough, Latham Slough, I've been around there. And, watercolor is still, you can find some of that brownish color, you can find some green color, you can find 3 feet of visibility, you can find 6 feet of visibility. But all in all, the water temperatures are holding right about 70 degrees. We're going to get some warm weather coming up, so I believe that temperature is going to probably be up to 73, 74, maybe 75 degrees by this weekend. Visibility might be all over the board a little bit, but it's nothing that you can't fish out. The conditions out here are not what's causing the slow fishing. So those are the water conditions. There has been a noticeable change in the amount of sea lions that have been out there. The last couple of weeks, everyone I've talked to, they've disappeared. Last couple times I've been out, I don't think I've seen a seal. So they're gone. I think the stripers are pretty much moved out of the system. We're not going to spend a lot of time on striper. I know I talked to Bill down at Paradise Point, and the local guys that are going out and staying out there fishing through a tide and throwing bait, live bait. Most of them are throwing live bluegill. They're catching fish, but they're catching 1 or 2 fish to bring home. It's nothing that, if you're going out for sport to have a lot of fun, it's pretty slow fishing. So we'll get back to you guys when the fall run starts coming in. We'll make sure we keep you up to date if something happens between now and then. So it's all largemouth bass, and as I said, it's been all over the board. Last week they had a 2-day tournament. Future Pro had a 2-day tournament, and 30 pounds won the tournament. That's 15 pounds a day. That's not great. 75 boats, middle of the pack. They were getting about 7 or 8 pounds a day. That's tough fishing. I will say that last weekend, I think they hit some kind of poor tides. I know one day they went out early, one day they went out late, so I don't know exactly what tides they hit, but they weren't fishing prime tides. What the heck is this? That's all I need now. Okay, they weren't, I don't think they had any real prime tides, but the fishing was very tough. And I also like to say that, we've had, it seems like every afternoon the wind has come up, and it's been, when I've been out there, it's been blowing 15, 20 miles an hour in the evening almost every night, so it's kind of curtailed the evening bite. I'll have to get out early and try a morning bite here next week. But anyhow, Future Pro had a tough time. So let's talk about some of the reports that I've been getting this week, and these are the reports that the guys are catching fish. We'll start off with Hook Setters, and Hook Setters is kind of a weekly guy. He's turning in reports all the time. He seems to be catching fish all the time. Now, I want you to take a look at this fish that Hook caught last week. Nice fish, but look at that tail. That is a spawned out fish. Here's a picture of his wife with another nice fish. Check out this fish. No spawning marks at all on the tail. Probably, a week out, maybe 2 weeks out. That's been the story of everyone I've talked to. When you get a big fish, it could be spawned out, it could be pre-spawn, it could be post-spawn, it could be in any phase of the spawn. I talked to Rob Cloutier Rob hasn't been out much this week, but he's in contact with a lot of people from the shop. They're saying the same thing. One guy comes in with a 7-pound fish. It's got a rounded tail. The next guy's got a 7-pound fish, and it's 2 weeks away from spawning. So it really is an oddball year. A lot of productive spawning going on right now. And I am sure that in the next couple of weeks, especially when we get this full moon, there's going to be a lot more productive spawning. Still lots and lots of fry running around out there. Everybody seems to be catching small fish. These are the fry garters. They're getting very active, and a lot of people are catching more and more fish. They're just not getting the size of the fish that they want. Here's a real, I guess this is going to be the story of the week. My buddy Willie went out, got his PB, 7378, I forget what it was, but a new PB for Willie. Check out this fish. Look at the tail on it. Totally spawned out. Willie, that fish was probably well over 8 pounds. Could have been 8.5, 9 pounds. You caught that a week before. Here's the deal. While Willie was catching that fish, he broke his rod. I know his wife, Dee, and I've got some advice for Dee. Just, Willie, you cover your ears. Tell Dee to come out, and I've got some advice for her. So, Dee, Willie just got his personal best. He broke his rod. He's a hardcore guy. He's going to go out and buy a new rod whether you like it or not. I can tell you that. It's just, it's in our DNA. So try this. Just back him up and get behind him and say, Willie, go out. You deserve it. Go out and get that new rod. He's going to get it anyhow. But if you kind of make him think that you're all behind it and, you know, go out and maybe upgrade the rod, something like that, you might get a little more work from him around the house in the next couple of weeks. Okay, Willie can come back and watch the rest of the video. All right, so these are the guys that are catching big fish, and they're spawned out, they're not spawned out, they're this, they're that, they're everything. The fishing in general has been slow. There have been a lot more folks talking about frog fishing. They're catching fish on frogs. I know in the junior division of the Future Pro, I think they had about 13 pounds that won it, and they caught all their fish on frogs. So that's something to be said about topwater fishing. I've thrown some topwater fish or some topwater baits. I'm not doing well on topwater at all. I know my partner Ted, Coach Ted, he's been out quite a bit and he's doing some damage. Again, he is throwing slow-moving baits. They're throwing primarily crayfish imitations, and he's catching some nice 3 and 4 pound fish, and he's been pretty consistent. When he drops shots, nothing. The only thing he's been doing is throwing creature baits with crayfish imitations, and that's working for him. He's fishing the points. He's making sure he's throwing over the point and bringing the baits into the point, and that's been doing the trick for Coach Ted. And that's pretty much, you know, the last 2 or 3 weeks. If you want to get the bigger fish, slow down, use your plastics, use your creature baits, use your worms. Although, who knows, this week with the warming water, we have been getting more and more reports with guys catching fish on chatterbaits, jerkbaits, and crankbaits. So not a whole lot has changed, and I wish I had more to tell you, but that's the bottom line. I will say also that the prime tide to be out there fishing, if you can get there at the right tide on the right day, you want to be fishing that high outgo tide. Although I have had some reports of guys catching fish on low tide, most everything, I'd say 70% of everybody that's talked about tides, it's the high outgo tide. So with that, guys, thanks for tuning in. Again, hit me up and let me know if this audio is any better than what it has been. And you can call me an idiot if you want for not plugging in the microphone. But hey, I'm so happy that I got it plugged in and it looks like it's working now that I just kind of forgot about that last couple of weeks. Oh, I have been doing a lot of filming, and Tuesday I dropped a video on creature baits. Next week I'm going to do part 2 on that creature bait deal. So if you haven't watched that creature bait video, check that out. And it's going to be part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is coming up next Tuesday. So thank you guys for watching. Good luck. I hope you go out there and catch some fish. Make sure you send me reports. That's to scooper956 1032@gmail.com. I'll get all of those reports. Send me a picture if you get a big one. Put it up on the weekly report. Thanks a lot for watching. Go out and catch some fish. Bye-bye.